I'm going to go in and just create a simple piece of artwork here. Put in the word word. I'm going to enlarge it in size by going to the selection tool, grabbing one of the side handles here on the bounding box, hold the shift key and extend out. So now we have the word word. I can change the style of the word word by going into my text, my character settings on my properties palette. I can use the up and down arrows to kind of navigate through the different styles. And I'm going to stick with something relatively simple. We'll do this one. And I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. So we go into, let's say, black. What I want to do is I want to put a stroke around this word. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a stroke, say green stroke around this word. I'm going to make it real big. And you can see as I'm doing that, the word, the letters here, are getting kind of distorted by the stroke. I can fix that if I can put the stroke on the outside of the word. So I'm going to go over here to my stroke, click on that in the properties palette, the word, and click on align stroke outside. And you notice nothing happens. The reason why is because right now this is still editable text. It's not going to allow me to use that particular option in the stroke. So what I have to do is I have to turn this into the original artwork, the vector shapes, the paths that created this in the first place. Somebody else did that. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to convert my type by going create outline. And when I do that, it allows me then to go in and take the stroke and put it on the outside of the path. Looks a lot better. I'm going to increase that stroke even more now. And as I do that, you'll start to notice that the word, the O, the R, and the D are all kind of overlapping each other. And the reason why is because each one of those pieces of artwork is still considered a single piece of artwork. I'm going to go to the layer over here, open up the layer. You see that I have a group. When I turned it into a vector shape, it made a group of a bunch of compound paths. So I'm going to pull this out so you can see that. What I want to do is I want to combine this group into a single object, a single compound path. And that will get rid of this overlap. You see when it's overlapping, what's going here is that the first letter I typed was W, the second was O. So we're literally stacking them on top of each other. I'm going to go in here. They are objects. I'm going to first ungroup those objects, and look what happens while I do that on the layer. So now I just have 4 compound paths. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go and uncompound path, release the compound path. So now what you'll notice is that I have more shapes here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the inner shapes here, the knocked out areas of the O, are actually individual shapes. The D, same deal. So now that that's all undone, I go back in and I recompound path. And now let's take a look at what happens on the layer. Oops. Recompound path, make. And you'll notice I have one object now, a compound shape made out of 6 shapes. The outer strokes on all the letters and the 2 inner strokes on the D and the O. And you'll notice that that shape around it now, the green shape that I made with the stroke, is perfectly normal. It's not overlapping any place, and that's because this is one shape now. I can play around with the stroke. I can soften the corners, make it a little bit more interesting. And I can go in now into my appearance palette, and I can actually add more strokes, change the color of them, change the size of them. You can see how I can get a lot of variety with just that one object. That object is made out of the WORD. So that is breaking apart a word, putting it back together so that we can do some more interesting effects to it. Illustrator is made up of paths. Paths make objects, and objects go into groups or compound shapes. Doesn't make a difference what we're making, that's how Illustrator works. So this is just a quick demonstration of how to work within that realm of working with compound shapes, paths, objects, and groups.